Hello guys, today I will share with you how I export my images from Photoshop to Instagram with a white background and a nice shadow, so it looks very nice and clean and always the same, like consistency. This is what we want to have. So here are some examples, and now let's jump on Photoshop. So I use Adobe Bridge to browse my images. Let's open that one here. Alright, now we're in Photoshop. So we have here a panel which is action panel. Here there is like a couple of action by default and other that you can create if you want, and the folder here are named as set. So you can create a new set, and then like I did here with my name, and you can also create a new action. So this is what we need to do. So we create a new action, frame with shadow, under the set Jamil Slim, record. The first thing we need to do is to unlock the main layer, our image, then create a new layer and make sure it's a white, solid white background, and we'll move it under our image because we want to have a white background. So that's the way we do it. Well, one of the way. Then go on image, canvas size, so we can increase the size of the frame, the layer, but only for that layer. So I go with 555. You can do whatever you want. You can try anything that you want. Just make sure it's in pixels. That relative button is checked, and the anchor is exactly like that. Otherwise, make sure it's checked in the middle, so it will increase. It will add the border everywhere to the same size. Okay. So we have our border, our white border around our image. Then we need to add a shadow now. So we go on, just make sure to select the layer on which you want to work. So select the layer 0 for the drop shadow, and here are the settings. I put multiply, black color, opacity 40%. You can play with that. You will just see in the background how it works. And same for the angle, how you want to do it. This is the settings I use, by the way, but you can play with them and see how it pleases you. Then we click on OK. And after that, we have our image with the border, with the shadow, everything. We're happy. So we just have to stop the recording. And we have here our button action. So we don't need to do that every time that we want to export a picture, or every time that we need. Sometimes we'll change the settings and you'll just forget. And by the way, there is something. If you still want to use the same action button and you want to change the settings, here is to do it. So you go on set layers and you double click on the step, and it will pop again that window. So you can play with that however you want, and just click on OK, and it will save everything with the new settings that you put. So if in the future you want to change the stuff, you can just have to go back here or play around until you're happy with the settings. Alright, so now let's close this window here and let's test it out. Alright, let's open the image again. So we have our image and our action here. So let's click on action, frame with shadow, we click on play, and boom, we have our image with the white border and the shadow. We're super happy. We don't need to waste time anymore to do those things, to do the export. So let's close and I will show you the easiest way. Save. Back here on Adobe Bridge. So if you use Adobe Bridge, you're gonna like this option. So we go on Tool, make sure to select the image, Tools, Photoshop, Image Processor, and that's how the magic happens. So we have our export settings, save as JPEG, top quality, resize to fit. You can put any number that you want. You can put the exact size that you would like to have. Otherwise, if you put 2222, it will just take the longest edge and apply the settings. And then in preference, so you select the folder, the set, and the frame with shadow. Just make sure to check the run action and the folder destination. So click on run. Just make sure so convert profile to sRGB for the screen. Run, and we go on our folder here, and it create another folder, JPEG, with our file. Boom, we have our file with the shadow, the frame, ready to go on Instagram. And I also export the file without the run action button. So run again. So when I go on my JPEG folder, I have both. I have one without the frame and one with the frame and the shadow. So there is another way to export the image without going through Adobe Bridge. So let's go back to Photoshop, open our image again, and then we have to resize the image to fit on Instagram. So when I export my image, I export them in 2222 pixel, as you saw. And we need to do a small calculation with the numbers. So let's open calculator, and because I use 2222, and here on our script we use 555, so we have to reduce the 555. So let's remember that number here, 1667. So we go back here, Photoshop, image size, longest edge, 1667, and we resize the image. So now, because when we add the canvas size here, when you run the script, it will add those 555 around, and it will be like 22 pixels. So let's run the script now, and we have our image. And just for fun, if you go back on image size, we'll see that it's 2222. So that's exactly what we need. So now we just need to go and convert the profile to sRGB here. Okay, and we go on File, save a copy, go back on our folder, see here, Dreamy Eyes copy, go back here, JPEG, bam, the color profile, save, maximum quality, boom, and we have here our copy, and that's exactly the same. So it's now ready, and we can now import that on Instagram. The other thing is that if you don't want to do those steps on Adobe Bridge, you can still add the steps to resize the image and export as convert to sRGB and export with the top quality, the 12, inside the same script. So you just don't have to stop it and just keep going. The thing is that if you keep going and you get to this point here and you export the file from Adobe Bridge and you use the script, the full script, it will add like a bigger frame around, and it's not gonna be nice. And you might lose some quality. So that's the two ways to do those things. You just have to choose one of them if you go through Adobe Bridge, or if you do everything on Photoshop. It's up to you. Yeah. So I hope this small little trick gonna help you in your process, and at least now you guys know how to create action buttons. And for any kind of stuff, you can create anything that you want, for stuff that you keep doing, stuff that you keep using, and you're not gonna waste time anymore. All right, if you have any question, any comment, feel free to drop anything down there. And yeah, until that, see you soon, and feel free to follow and like. Cheers, guys.